G'day gamers, Ranger Tony here, back with more of, well, back with a new playthrough. Yeah, it's not more, but more content, new playthrough. Um, Not what everyone is expecting or maybe wanting. And I'm going to go through that right now. So, I put on a poll on the website, and the most popular option was a Skyrim Ranger playthrough, so using bows and a taming mod. Um, and I was going to do it at master level difficulty, my first playthrough on master level difficulty. And I was fine going to do that. And so I did, I decided I'm going to do a test playthrough first on master difficulty. I think I should complete the game on master difficulty before I record the Ranger playthrough. So I went and built my one of my two favorite builds, which is sneaky crossbow. And I went through the game, and it was a little bit difficult to begin with because you're only doing half the damage you normally do, and your opponents are doing double damage to you, so it was challenging. But then I got my first crossbow, um, and things started to get easier. And the reason they get easier is the first crossbow, the Imperial crossbow, or even the default crossbow that you get, that you can make. But then also I went and bought an Imperial crossbow, and the Imperial crossbow basically does about twice the damage of the similar bows that you could get early game, right? So it was okay. That's good. That's going to be really handy. Um, and I went through. I did my standard sort of thing. I didn't really wait around very much. I just hit the main quest line and was going. And if you've seen my other crossbow playthroughs, the Imperial crossbow is nice, but it's fairly easy to get a elven crossbow and an ebony crossbow early game by going to the bandit hideout in the mountains to the west of Solstein. So I did that early on as well. So even though I had an Imperial crossbow, as soon as I got the Imperial crossbow, I went and got the Elvish crossbow. And smithing doesn't take it very long. You can get to elven smithing, and you can then improve that crossbow really well. And so I did all of that. And I started doing some of the main quest line, and then I went over to Solstein, and I got the Chaos enchantment from over there. The quest that you do in the little castle that has the guy that's been around for a couple of 100 years. You kill him, you get the hammer that has the Chaos enchantment on it. You disenchant that, you put it on your crossbow, and everything is great. And the Chaos enchantment has a 50% chance to do fire damage, 50% chance to do lightning damage, and a 50% chance to do cold damage. And it was really good. And so a combination of sneak attacking and the Chaos enchantment and the Elven crossbow, all, smithed up as good as I could. I was blitzing through everything, and I'm going, yeah, this is good. I'm feeling good about our master level playthrough, and I got all the way through. I killed Alduin. I was done, and I went, yay, great. And I went, you know what? That was so. It wasn't easy, but that was so good. Maybe I should try it as a mage. I'm just curious. So I started a mage on master level. And yes, very hard to begin with because you're not doing much damage, etc., etc. And I went, and I got to a certain point, and I went, "Oh, this is this is too easy. There's something wrong here." And let me just check. And I checked the difficulty settings, and wouldn't you know it, somehow it was back on adept. And I went, I did that whole because it was like immediately after I'd finished the archer playthrough, the crossbow playthrough. And I went, oh, damn it. I've done a large portion of that playthrough on adept difficulty. That's why it seemed so easy. So I reloaded the first Alduin fight on the Throat of the World after you've read the first Elder Scroll, and I tried to fight Alduin on master difficulty. Oh boy. Yeah. No, very, very difficult, very, very different. Could not get through that fight. Tried it a couple of times and went, no, I need to rethink this. And I started thinking, and this really threw me for a curveball because it was like, okay, this is definitely a lot harder. And so I actually started doing the playthrough again as the crossbowman, went back even further, and found that to um, going up to High Hrothgar to see the Greybeards, the snow troll that is there, I couldn't kill it. I could not do enough damage to it. I could, even with the first sneak attack that I could get, every shot after that is no longer a sneak because he knows where I am. And I kept hitting him and hitting him and hitting him, and he was healing almost as quickly as I was doing damage to him. And I'm like, how am I going to get through this? And it made me really rethink the Ranger playthrough. And I'm like, I don't know what I can do to get through this playthrough. I started thinking, well, okay, with a bow, it's going to be even worse than with a crossbow because the bows do less damage, they take longer to attack, and you've got that whole reversed action method. And what I mean by that is, with a crossbow, you reload the crossbow and it's ready to fire. And so then when you click the button to fire the crossbow, it fires immediately and then automatically reloads. So it's like using a normal melee weapon. You click it, it does its thing. But with the bow, you've got to hold down the button to draw the arrow back and then release it. So that's a whole completely opposite. You have to charge it first and then release, which is completely opposite to every other physical weapon in the game. And it slows you down. It means that if you're in a really bad situation, if something really interesting is happening to you, someone's at melee range, for example, you're in a bad place because you click the button to shoot. No, it's not going to shoot. You've got to wait to draw it all back. So that's my big problem with the bow. And I mean, it's understandable. It's a bow. It's how they work, but it's a real problem. And the sneak damage that I get is really only on the first shot. You're very, very lucky if you get sneak damage with any ranged weapon. I mean, you can do it. If you're in good enough cover that they can't see you, every shot will be a sneak shot. But against the big opponents that I'm going to have trouble with, mostly dragons, dragon priests, high-level Draugr, all that sort of stuff, I'm not going to get more than one sneak attack. So unless that sneak attack is going to kill them in one hit, which it isn't, I'm in deep trouble. I need to find another way to do damage, or a way to do more damage. And the only thing I could think of for an archery playthrough on master level difficulty was to max out stealth. Because if I get 100 stealth, I have put enough points in stealth that I can get that final stealth skill. The final skill in stealth allows you to crouch and go back into stealth in the middle of combat. And your opponents will not technically know where you are. So what you can do is you can stealth, shoot, and you'll get a sneak attack. Unstealth, and then stealth again, shoot, you'll get a sneak attack. And that would be the only way that I can think of that I know that I could definitely do a lot of damage in a master level playthrough. Either that and or getting archery up to as high as I can, so I'm doing as much damage as possible. I can use the more powerful bows, like the dragon bone bow, and at the same time I would probably need to go really heavily into enchanting and enchant up a full set of archery gear to do as much damage as possible with my bow. And then I might have a chance of getting through on master level difficulty. And look, there are people that do it, and so it's not impossible. But archery, I felt that I would really have to go down the stealth route on master level difficulty, and it would be a long time getting stealth to 100% before I would even then attempt the main quest line. Okay? So that was the problem I was having. Um, and I thought about what I could do, and I realized that the other play style that I love in Skyrim is Destruction Mages, right? And that's what we're going to do. And the reason we're going to do that, and the reason why I feel it's going to be a little bit easier to do, is because you've seen me do this before on Adept level. You start as a mage and you go heavily down the enchanting route and you enchant yourself up a set of destruction gear, which means it essentially you get it so that it costs you 0 points of magicka to cast any destruction spell. And then you just go and buy yourself the most powerful destruction spells you can get, and you hurl them around like there is no tomorrow. So that is what this build is going to be. But it's not going to be just that. Because to get there, we're going to need a lot of help. Right? And so there's 2 reasons why we're going to pick a Breton for this build. The first is Breton's rule. Like, that's just full stop, end of sentence. Their resistance to magic and their dragon skin ability to absorb spells are great, even though I rarely use dragon skin because it's one of those things that I rarely remember to use. Their resistance to magic is really useful. Start with 25%. You can bump that up to about 80%, I think, with alteration perks and enchantments if you want to go that high. But the other reason we're doing this is Bretons start with the highest. Let me just triple check this. Yes, Bretons start with the highest level in Conjuration, and we start with the Summon Familiar spell, which is going to be really useful super early. We're then going to go and get Flame Atronach. But Conjuration is going to be our friend pretty much the entire way through, because I don't doubt it, but even if we get, well, not even if, when we get to the point of doing destruction magic for 0 magicka, so unlimited destruction power, even when we do that, it's still going to be good to have a summoned something along to be our tank, basically. Now, I've not done summoning a lot in previous playthroughs, and there's a really easy reason for that. Because on Adept level, the default level of this game, summons suck. Like, really badly. And, you can come in as a Breton, you can cast this Summon Familiar in the first battle in Helgen when you come across the 2 Stormcloaks, and it'll last 10 seconds and it'll be dead. And there's a really, so it feels so useless, right? Later on, once you can summon an Atronach, Flame Atronach, for example, it lasts a little bit longer, but, they tended to feel useless to me, and I'm very much against necromancy, so I don't want to go down that side of the route. In fact, it's even a little bit, if, if you're not summoning undead, the only other conjuration spells for summoning things, companions, is summon familiar, which is almost it is some sort of spectral wolf, which implies it's a wolf ghost, which is a little bit necromancy, and I don't really like it. But you could think of it as the essence of a wolf from another plane, from the astral plane or whatever. But then the other things, like you got the flame Atronach, the ice Atronach, or the whatever, and then the storm Atronach. So there's 3 Atronachs, and they're what I will be using in this playthrough. The problem I have with that, it's sort of the equivalent of summoning a demon, which is just as bad as summoning undead in my book. Because the Atronachs, most people probably don't realize it, but the Atronachs are just beings, things from Oblivion, from the plane of Oblivion. It would be no different to summoning a Dremora, which you can also do in this level. So, in Conjuration in Skyrim. But I sort of think of them more maybe along the lines of, in the D&D world, you can summon elementals, which in itself isn't exactly a very nice thing to do either, because it's basically like you walking down the street and then suddenly being summoned into some other plane of existence and forced to fight for somebody, and then when you die, you suddenly get shunted back to your normal plane of existence. That's what you're doing when you summon an elemental. Not exactly a very nice thing to do. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing on this playthrough. I'm not going to overthink it too much, even though it's obvious that I already have. So we're going to go Britain. I actually no. This is fine. Look, let's just now. I had thoughts on names here. I could go with that name, and people might recognize that. Which, or the related name. I think that's how you spell it. It's been a long time since I've read the books. Well, not that long, actually. Probably 5 or 6 years. But I think we'll just go Master Magician, which is actually the name of one of the books. Yes. All right. So we're going to go and call this Master Magician.
You from Daggerfall, Breton?
And we are going to try and complete the game on master level as a mage. So as I said, the plan is heavy into Conjuration, because that's our tank, that's our protection. I've done a little bit of a playthrough of this, and yeah, finding it working really well. Finding that I'm actually not even really delving into alteration all that much, which I should. I should be remembering to do that, because I'm not wearing armor. I was thinking about wearing armor, heavy armor, to protect myself. I am going to put some points into health, which I wouldn't normally do in these in a depth level mage playthrough. I would be pumping purely magicka. But when you go down the enchantment route to remove all of the, to fortify destruction, for example, you don't need huge amounts of magicka. So most of the magicka I'm going to have and use will be used to keep my conjurations working, and to, alteration, flesh spells, and things like that inside and outside of combat. I do have my Mage Focus mod, so I may run up and get that spell at some point, but in my test playthrough I had not yet got it, even though I think I got to about level 10. I do have my unlock spells. Technically the taming mod is actually there, but I'm not going to use it. And the force spell. I've got the force spell mods, and I've got the teleport mods. So there's a few spell mods thrown in there. Oh, and the chest mod, which gives me the ability to summon basically all of the crafting stations. All of those sorts of things that you've seen me use in other mage playthroughs are in this mod pack. There will be a list of all the mods down below. Yeah. So we're getting a little bit of a help. We're also getting a tiny little bit of a help from the fact that I've got a cloaks mod, because that cloak is one more thing that we can enchant. Come on, game. There we go. You've noticed I'm not using alternate start mod. It was just a choice because I wanted to be able to talk to you as all of that stuff was happening before I built my character. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm gonna go with Hadvar as my start. It doesn't really matter in this playthrough, because if I want heavy armor for my character, the best start to do is actually go with Ralof, because you then fight the Imperial Captain in that room in there, and that gives you heavy armor. Light armor, you go with Hadvar, and you get access to Imperial light armor, but also all of the Stormcloaks are wearing light armor as well. So that's a decent sort of start. We're not going to worry about that. We are probably going to put some armor on.
There you go. Take a look around. There should be plenty of gear to choose from. I'm going to see if I can find something for these burns.
Also, if you want to do a smithing start, if you plan on using smithing, going with Hadvar is a good option, because you can loot everything at Alvor's in Riverwood once you talk to Alvor. Now, you can talk to Alvor without having... You can do a Ralof start and still talk to Alvor. That's not a problem. It is possible to do that, yes. Because there's actually 3 people you can talk to that I know of. There might be more, but there's 3 people you can talk to in Riverwood at the start to get the quest to go and see the Jarl of Whiterun. You can talk to Alvor. You can talk to Ralof's wife, whose name escapes me. Or you can talk to the Bard. When I go and talk to him, and I normally talk to him so that I can expose him for being the bastard that he is, and get friends with fine I keep wanting to think Fineguard, but it's not Fineguard. Anyway, something like that. The elf, and then I go and raid his house. But yeah, they're the 3 people you can talk to, but I never talk to the Bard about that. Let's get ourselves up. So there's Conjure Familiar. Yes, I know about that. The only problem with not doing alternate start. Alternate start seems to disable all the tutorial stuff, and the tutorial stuff is really annoying. Okay, it's all of those. Let's get... That's on the 1 for the moment. That's on the 8. That's on the 3. And that's not going to be on anything, but I'm going to select it anyway. Okay, Flames in our right hand, Conjure Familiar in our left. Let's do a... Yes, I know about this. So first of all, let's double check. No, settings, that we are actually on master level difficulty. Let's come in here to the mod config and make sure we get these set up. This is purely just me preferring a 24-hour clock for that, so that's not a big deal. Sky UI, though, I do this one because if you don't do this, any active effects only show up when they have 3 minutes or less left on them, whereas with this, they show up all the time. So the active effects that appear up in the top right-hand corner of the screen, they will appear all the time now once I have an effect active. So that is good. That's what I want. All right, let's do this. We are not going to be able to do much in a lot of these fights. We are going to summon our Familiar, and then we're going to do as much damage as we can slowly with our flames. And the reason we're doing it like that is because the summoning of our familiar will take up, as you can see, most of our magicka. How did that miss? I'm trying to be very careful here because I can kill my own familiar. Now see how well he is doing? First of all, they haven't fixated on him at all. But even if they do, he's going to last a lot longer. I didn't mention this before, but the reason for that is the way the rules are implemented for the difficulty settings. Okay? So at a depth level difficulty, I'm doing 100% damage to my opponents, and they are doing 100% damage to me. But the rule is for... I actually picked up a mace, which I don't want, so let's put that back on him. For higher levels of difficulty, your opponents do more damage to you, and you do less damage to them. It's not actually the way it works. What it is, at master level difficulty, everything in the game, except me, has double health. Even though if I was to look at one of them, if it was to give me numbers, which it never does, but if it was to give me numbers, it would probably say that their health is the normal value, but it's actually not. It's double what it would be at a depth level. That's how... So my weapons don't do half damage. They do normal damage. My opponents have double the health. That's how that is implemented. But when opponents hit me, the game calculates double damage. And that's why my summon is so useful at master level. Because, now you watch, they're attacking, that guy back there is attacking my wolf. And my wolf survived those couple of hits from... He survived multiple hits from this Stormcloak. It's because the Stormcloak's weapons are doing normal damage to my familiar, but my familiar has double health, so he survives twice as long. And so that is why summons appear to be more useful the higher the difficulty level. Alright, so even though it's not super important for this build, I am looking for vegetable soup ingredients. Because that is a good little buffer. Anytime I take damage, if I turn that on, I'm going to get health back for free. Oops. Very good. All right. Now, it does irk me a little bit that I am actually not doing a lot of damage here, and it also means I'm going to level up very slowly. I didn't want that mace, but I definitely wanted those pouches. They mean I can carry a little bit more. Which I don't need right now. Come on, Wolf. Out of the... Oh, now I'm completely stuck. Yeah, I'll have a look as soon as my familiar disappears, because he's standing in the way. There we go. Okay, we've got all of that. I definitely want to get in here. One of the few locks I will be picking normally in this playthrough. Okay, we're going to immediately switch over to Hood and the robes. They are going to help a lot in the next couple of fights because increased magical pool and then increased regeneration, magical regeneration. Super, super useful. Standard looting of all of this. Seen it a million times before. Oh, I've also got the Sparks spell there, don't I? And I think... No, actually, I'm going to stick with Flames. I have this thing where I like using Sparks. But the fact of the matter is Flames do damage over time, which Sparks don't. So we will stick with Flames. Good. I don't want any of them coming for me. Oops. Sorry, Hadvar. Getting shot at by those guys. It's a bit of a nuisance. Alright, now, can we burn these guys? Yes! We got one of them. Also got my animal, Wonderful! Okay, that wasn't too bad at all. Loot. Not picking up any of the iron weapons because they're just too damn heavy. Don't need the bows. The bows will sell. I'm not going to bother taking the arrows. The bows aren't too heavy and they sell okay, so... Yes, I see you, Hadvar. Wonderful. We're not going to charge ahead too much here because Hadvar takes his time. And I want him with me when I come across the spiders because even though my animal companion will help, being ganged up 5 against 1, even with double health, my animal companion will not last forever. Or my familiar, I should say, will not last forever in this situation. So, come on. I'm over here. There's no need waiting back there. Let's go. Missed. And also closer. There we go. Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Anything up here this time? No. Okay. Sometimes there's a potion up there. I don't know why it doesn't always appear there. actually.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead.
Yeah, I know, but if we're quick, my animal companion will get at least one decent... No, damn it, he disappeared. Alright, that's okay. That bear is actually quite easy to kill. It's not the normal cave bear health. Alright. Grab all of that. And that. Let's get our summon animal companion ready again.
This looks like the way out. I was starting to wonder if we'd ever make it.
And we are out.
Wait.
Not doing survival mode. Not in my first playthrough of master level difficulty, that's for sure. Save out here. Save as well, because I'm a belt and suspenders kind of guy. We're going to take Advar with us. We're not going to run off. I'm definitely not going to attack that bandit camp down there just yet. He could, with Hadvar helping us, we probably could survive that. But I really don't want to chance it. I'll come back and do that. I mean, I do want to do that camp because I need to go to the shrine over there to get the Thalmor robes to disenchant them for the destruction enchantment. So I do need to do it. I just don't want to push my luck this early on. Instead, we'll come back once we've got some better spells. Most importantly, the Flame Atronach. Okay, while you're telling me about this, I'm going to disappear down this way. And I'm going to grab the lock and unlock spells. And whatever other goodies. Vagrant Robes of Minor Conjuring. Guess who's wearing that right now? And probably never taking it off for quite a while. Let's just chuck on that Imperial Cloak for the moment as well. That is really good to find early. I mean, it's only helping by 12%, but any bonus to Conjuration is going to be a good thing. I might as well read the lock spell. I'm never going to use it, but I might as well.
These are the Guardian Stones. The 13 ancient standing stones that dot Skyrim's landscape. Mage, well, to each his own. It's not for me to judge.
And yet, by saying that, you've just judged me. Now, I've been having, I don't know if it's a problem, but I've been noticing recently that the wolves are often not in this clearing. And they are this time. Hang on. Thought I saw the third one. No, maybe not. Where's the other? Oh, there's the other body. We'll get the third one later. If I hear the third one while I'm fighting those two, I often get... Oh, let's go and get it. My familiar is still here. Let's dual hand this. Nice destruction increase. Beautiful. I think my fire killed my familiar, but anyway, that's fine. It just makes the area around here a little bit safer to get rid of those wolves. Yes, I know my stamina is low. I'm deliberately running to try and catch up to Hadvar. And there he is. Yeah, so when you talk to Sven, if you say I saw a dragon in Helgen, he does the same thing that the other guys do. But I'm going to do this.
I've seen him sneaking over to the river. You may be right. Here, give Camilla this letter. It's full of venomous nonsense.
Keep your voice down. I'm fine, but we should go inside to talk.
Of course. But what's all this about? What are you two doing here? What? That explains what I saw. You're right. The Jarl we need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun. Come on inside. Sigrid will get you something to eat. And you can tell us what happened.
I can grab those boots. I can grab that dagger. Alright. So, what we're going to do is we are going to do
What? What is it now, Mother?
there should be some wolf pelts here. 1, 2, 3.
Dragons now, is it?
Alright. And then all of the fur stuff are going to break down. It doesn't sell. Excuse me, it doesn't sell very well anyway. Okay. So, I have a thing lately where I seem to prefer the pale pouches to the normal pouches. I don't know why, but I do. And we need... Oh, it's more leather we need. Alright, let's... Oh, the hide shields. Here we go. And I also want the leather vial belt, which goes across the chest. We are also going to need to make... a backpack at some point. I forgot that the vial belt is the brown colour, so it doesn't really match with the... Ah, well. No harm, no foul. I'm not going to be looking at it very often anyway. That and those. Come in here and talk to Camilla.
Maybe you could talk some sense into... What are you talking... Oh my. Thank you for telling me the truth. Could you talk to Vandal as well? I don't know what you... I'm sure he'll want to thank you for standing up for him.
You have a single corundium ingot, so I'm going to buy that so I can make the backpack that I want. And then we're going to sell... Keep one of those because I can disenchant that for the carrying capacity enchantment. Let's get rid of all of this. Let's get rid of the lockpicks, the longbows, the meat pie. We're going to disenchant the robes. Sell the soul gem. I am going to be enchanting a lot, but I'm mostly going to be buying soul gems. I find it's much better. Because, look, I want to do enchantments. For my gear, it needs to be Grand Souls only, so I get the maximum benefit each time. They're expensive. But if I was to try and go out and use the soul trap spell to trap a soul that can be used as a grand soul that can be used for enchanting, there's actually very few things that have grand souls. Mammoths is probably the easiest. Dragons don't have souls. Dragon priests, mammoths, and the highest level Dremora are the only things that have grand level souls. Giants are only greater level, and stuff like that. So going out and trying to capture grand level souls is really hard, unless I've got a good supply of black soul gems, in which case I can just go and murder bandits. But I can get souls that way. I'm just not. I probably shouldn't have a problem with it because I do go around and kill the bandits, but then using their souls for enchantments afterwards, not something that I'm against that. So it's just easier to buy all of the big soul gems that I want. And so that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to keep those rings because I can enchant them later. And do you... Oh, I shouldn't buy that grand... I can't afford that grand soul gem. Good, because I shouldn't buy it either. Let's get oak flesh. No, I'm not going to get fury. I'm going to get calm. Actually, I will get fury because I want to test something out. One of the ways to really get my enchantment
You're new around here, so I'll go easy on you.
to get my enchantment leveled easily, we are going to go to Mealwatch fairly soon. Maybe not immediately, but fairly soon. We're going to go to Mealwatch. And in there, we will, of course, be able to enchant a couple of staves, because there's 2 blank staves in there, or staves. And that is going to be really useful. That gives us, in particular, the illusion staff that we enchant will give us multiple levels very quickly, I have found. Or at least, it'll give us 1, maybe 2 levels. I don't know exactly how many levels it'll give, but I did test it, and I got at least 1 level from each staff that I enchanted, so that is what we shall be doing.
Mass confusion. I don't know if anyone else got out alive. I doubt I'd made it out myself if not for my friend here. I need to get back to Solitude and let them know what's happened. I thought you could help us out. Food.
Right, I've got everything I want from here. Get out of here. Potatoes are good. We want to check in these barrels because they often have tomatoes. Not often, but they can have tomatoes in them. That's what I'm really looking for at the moment. Okay, there is Findle. It's Findle. I was thinking Fingal or Fingull or something like that. It's Findull. Okay. Now, all I have to do is say follow and then dismiss him. And because he's been my follower, I can now enter his house and it's not considered trespassing. And I can use my spell to unlock it, which will be nice. Actually, before I go in... Oh, hang on. I don't have any tomatoes yet anyway, do I? No, I was going to say, before I go in, I should go and get the potatoes, cabbages, and leeks from the other little farm plot over there. But I don't have any tomatoes yet, so it's not really going to help very much. I do have to be careful here, because if this is an apprentice level spell, and if it backfires and harms me, it could kill me. Because it's going to do double damage to me. But we got through. Alright. What do we got? Anything good? No, just stuff to sell. Nothing there. Those. Want any of that. I don't really want to pick up any of that stuff. I don't know why I pick up this stuff. The cheese doesn't sell all that well. Have those potatoes though. Oh, the barrel's empty. That sells. That all sells. What's in the chest? Just want the axe, even though it's not that good to sell. Not gonna bother selling any of that. Alright. Let's go and do the farm, and then we'll sell everything we've got. And yeah. Good, that's who I could have talked to. Man, I have done a terrible job at picking. There we go. Better with the potatoes. Alright. All done here.
We're a small village, but we work hard and take care of our own.
We might see if Lucan has any. Damn it, I didn't want to ask him this yet.
Solid? You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back.
Yep.
The sooner you take a look.
Okay, if he's got any tomatoes, I'll buy them. He doesn't. Okay, let's sell stuff that we don't want. Damn it, I didn't make the backpack yet. Don't forget to make the backpack. Potatoes, don't need those, don't need that. Keep the rings.
Now, if you're going to get those seeds,
do I have enough stuff to make? Yes. I have enough stuff to make the mage backpack, which increases my magicka by 20 points. Brilliant. Okay. We put that on. And then we've got to read these. Oak flesh. We want... Yep. That will do. Some cow hides. Okay, you're finished there. Good. Let me just use... I don't really think I need any more leather for anything, unless I was to actually want to remake those belt pouches, but I don't think I'm not that desperate to remake those. Probably could, though. Yeah, I'm out of leather.
must be mad hiding out there. Those old crypts are filled with nothing but traps,
I think this is a logical place to leave this episode. We are doing really well. We have made a good start. We've got some spells. The next thing is we are just going to fast track to Windhelm, go up, but we're not going to go and see the Jarl. We're going to go and see Buggerlugs, and we are going to buy some spells from him. And maybe if we've got the money, which we don't, we could buy some soul gems. But that's going to be in the next episode. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye now.